shed no tear. No woman, no cry. Good friends we are, and good friends we've lost.
What is that called?
When you get loud?
Yeah.
Peaking.
That one.
Yeah. Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel Cinematic Universe, a lot of those TV shows on Disney Plus that we've been going weekly, but sometimes in a blue moon,
What?
a movie comes out.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this week we are talking about the Black Panther sequel, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which opens November 11th. But really, you can get tickets for November 10th, which is this Thursday, to watch the latest entry in this newest phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is a preview episode, so we'll talk about kind of some of the things that we're expecting from it, some of the biggest questions still hanging out there, and honestly, just some of the things we're most excited about, because we're always excited when there's a new Marvel movie, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I think after that trailer, is up there.
Yep.
You know, at least in terms of Phase 4.
Oh, 100%.
The final film of Phase 4.
Yes.
A lot of F's and P's in there. A lot of sounds, huh?
Wow.
The final film
Your
in Phase 4.
Your phonological awareness is
Oh,
so...
phonological awareness in the final film of Phase 4. My name is Emmanuel.
My name is Sofia.
And we're
not going to see it together.
No. Wow. Start with a spoiler. Well, so this whole week you'll be out of town.
I am going to be out of town.
But
I'm going to be doing bigger things. You know, I'm a bigger person now. I'm going to be doing things.
You're leaving the nest.
Yeah.
You're like a bird flying off.
I'm leaving on a jet plane.
You're going on that jet plane to Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, there are no movie theaters there. Is that true?
No.
So you can't watch it. Wow.
Yeah, no, none whatsoever.
You could if you wanted to, but you might be
I probably could.
busy, yeah. I'm sure the people who don't know about your Marvel podcast would love to watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever with you.
You know what's crazy is that I've told some people about it, so I'm almost positive that they already
know
that, like, as soon as they hear this, they're going to be like, why didn't you invite us to go watch
I
Wakanda
know.
Forever?
Well, I'll be watching it, and we will have an episode coming out the very Friday that it releases, and then we'll have a big spoiler-full one coming out the following week. But again, it's exciting to see a new MCU movie. I believe Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was the last one.
Yes.
And that feels like a long time ago.
It feels like a long time ago, but I feel like it also was not a long time ago.
It was just the summer.
Yeah.
And here we are in the middle of fall, heading into winter. So it's not like a crazy long time. And it's nothing like the earlier phases when you would only get like one or two.
I was going to say, it's not like Marvel that we used to know.
We waited like maybe 9 weeks. Not that
Yeah,
crazy.
now
But
we're just spoiled.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Epic movie. Obviously, there's a giant missing piece in the star Chadwick Boseman, who passed away from colon cancer in August of 2020. The cast is back. Ryan Coogler is back directing it. There's the introduction of Namor, or I'm not sure yet how we're going to pronounce his name, because it's a little different from Namor, but portrayed by Tenoch Huerta, who's a brand new, I think, actor in the MCU. There's a lot in this that we'll talk about and dive deep about. But before we get into that, Sophia, what are you thinking about heading into Black Panther Wakanda Forever? What are some things you're kind of like interested or curious about seeing?
I'm interested to see how they're going to address Chadwick and his passing. I think it's going to be really beautiful, and I am ready to cry.
Yeah.
I'm also ready to hear Rihanna, baby.
She has not one but two new songs in the
already
film.
know.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, you know, we got Angela, we got like all the amazing cast is back, and so I know that it's going to get really intense, just like before.
Yeah.
Action wise, we are now being introduced to water. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The sea.
We didn't know water existed in the MCU until now.
Did not have any idea, let me tell you. But I'm super psyched to see underwater scenes, like especially fighting, like getting some of those vibes. But yeah, I think the most beautiful part of this is probably going to be Chadwick. And I'm a big emotional person. I don't know if like anybody just picked up on that yet, but so that's what I'm really looking forward to the most.
For sure. There's a giant element of this that I think people are speculating is the passing of the baton. I mean, Kevin Feige has been pretty adamant saying they're not recasting
Right.
T'Challa.
Yeah, because that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a big choice, I think, for such a large piece of the future of Marvel that they were setting up, because Black Panther was incredibly successful, not just in the box office, but it won multiple Oscars.
Yeah.
And to have kind of the star not around means that, either the franchise just ends here or there's a new Black Panther, which we know, even from the trailer, that there will be. We're not sure who it is yet.
Right.
Of course, it seems like the natural heir apparent is Shuri. Letitia Wright, who plays her, is in this movie. Lupita Nyong'o would be interesting too.
I would love to see
Nakia, but I don't know. I don't really see her as prominently as I see Shuri. I see Shuri everywhere. And then, of course, Okoye and M'Baku are back too. But I think you're right. Angela Bassett seems like she is the de facto leader.
Yes.
As Ramonda, as the queen mother of Wakanda, it seems like in the trailer, at least, she is in charge. She has these giant monologues, at least in the trailer, and seemingly, the one who is the head of state, at least. What's really interesting, too, is just how Wakanda is after everything that happened in Avengers Endgame and Infinity War.
That's right.
They basically fought off Thanos, and I'm not sure how the world feels about Wakanda right now.
Isn't that crazy? Like, we kind of have to go back to that time for us, even though it felt like forever ago. Like, we have to remember that some of these movies that they are now releasing or going to release are things that have definitely been affected, and we're like, dang, like that happened. Like, it feels like it happened 12 years ago, but really was just like 2 movies ago.
Yeah, and it's probably the richest and most powerful country around in this version of Earth. I mean, even in She-Hulk, they alluded to Wakanda and like artifacts. We did see some Dora Milaje in Falcon Winter Soldier, but this is like all Wakanda. And I say all Wakanda, but there's also kind of this giant question of what is going on with Namor or Namor. I don't know how they're going to pronounce it. Again, I'm sure it's in the trailer.
Yes.
But Namor is a very, very old Marvel character from the comic books. Like, I mean, really, really old. And the Submariner, he's the kind of the Marvel version of Aquaman. So you can imagine kind of how, I don't know, stoic or archetypal Namor used to be. And for them to kind of update him and kind of couch him in, some actual mythology from Mexico, kind of instead of Atlantis, there's a city called Talocan. And it's, something that it exists in Aztec lore. So it's kind of a brand new world. All, kind of revolving around their king. And it's a pretty interesting, like, Mayan mix of a new kind of version of an old Marvel character.
I also want to know what happens to introduce this character. Like, he seems like, as you said, because it's like so ancient and because like there are things that are probably respected underwater. Do you know what I mean? Like just artifacts and just like old buildings or architecture that may be hidden under there or whatever. Like, what happens to either one, disrespect their culture and allow them to come and be recognized here, or in Wakanda or wherever. But or who is the common enemy that we need, or that the Wakandians need to have them on their in their corner? I
think we assume. I mean, obviously, it looks like in terms of like fighting, we've got, Wakandans, against the Talokans. But you're right. Like, I feel like he isn't necessarily, he's an anti-hero, I guess, in some ways. But I have a feeling there's some buffoonery going behind the scenes to make these two fight against each other. And who is pulling those strings so they could maybe get the resources of Wakanda or whatever, I mean, it's...
Or vice versa. Maybe Wakanda wants like some science that's still underwater for some reason, allowing their civilization to thrive.
It's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, one of the things about Black Panther that was, I think, really poignant and was really important about it is it kind of showed some of what what happens when like a country thrives despite like colonialism and stuff like that. So it was a really interesting Marvel movie in that way. And here we have some themes that we can explore, which is, stuff that you can't really see in other Marvel movies. So I'm excited for that part too. And I'm sure. And of course, like big thing for us, I don't think we've watched all the trailers. No. Me and you, but it's on purpose. Like I don't like when trailers show too much. So I think I watched the very first one, the one with No Woman, No Cry. And then I was like, I'm not watching anymore. Like I'm good. I'm going to watch it anyways. So I'm cool, but I'm sure there's actually more about Namor out there already, like in other trailers or in other like featurettes. And I haven't seen them, but it's not on purpose. We're not gonna watch it.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm sure there's stuff out there already where that they're like, oh, this is describing every little aspect. Not interested. Yeah. I'll figure it out on my own. But some of you may already know. But whatever.
Do you feel like this movie took longer than expected?
To make, yes. I think there's a big part of this, which was, they were already writing the movie before Chadwick tragically passed away. So there's a version there that had to be rewritten. Of course, there was COVID.
Right.
And there was, multiple countries and vaccination statuses that they had to deal with, which pushed it back. The director infamously, Ryan Coogler got arrested at a bank trying to withdraw his own money because they thought he was robbing them, which is like,
what?
Awful. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you know about this?
I do not.
There's a video of this. It's kind of insane, but Ryan Coogler withdrew cash from the bank, and I guess they thought there's no way this guy has that much money, so they called the cops, and he was arrested.
That is so funny.
It was insane.
But he actually had the money, though, so like, why?
He's a giant, I don't know. It's wild.
Maybe they just didn't recognize him, or they didn't... there has to be something.
Yeah, race. I think played a big part of that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Watch the video, the footage. It's quite infuriating. But it's there's a lot that happened behind the scenes where I think a lot of people assumed this one was going to be really messy. But I don't know. It seems like one trailer kind of fixed that all. Well, what are some of the things that you're expecting from or? I guess, do you have any ideas who you would like to be the new Black Panther, or is that something you're not even worried about?
I don't really know. I'm kind of thinking that I like Shuri to be the new Black Panther, but I think that she's going to have like a really edgy, modern type twist to it because of all of her research and all of her advancements with like science and technology and everything. So I think that would be really cool, especially since she updated Chadwick's suit before, so like why wouldn't she continue to do so? But I can also see why there would be some like respect and some kind of just like family ties with that, where she would be like, I don't know if I can do it or like honor him in the way that he should be honored, like so some like personal or internal conflict within herself, but then eventually I can see her just like doing the thing. So
yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I mean, I think, I'd love for it to be like Lupita Nyong'o. She's obviously already a bona fide star. Or Okoye. I think that would be really interesting.
True, yeah.
She, I think, embodies a lot of what the Black Panther is.
Yeah, what they represent.
And then, of course, I think Angela Bassett would be awesome. She seems like she's already in charge.
Yeah, but I feel like she needs more like combat experience.
Yeah, and the other weird thing for me, and one of the big questions too, is Michael B. Jordan is back as Killmonger somehow in this. And, it could be flashbacks. There could be all kinds of explanations for it.
Or he could be turning a new leaf. You don't know.
Well, I mean, it would have to be a big new leaf because he dies at the end of Black Panther. So that's like the biggest question mark is
what happened?
We saw him die. So what's up with that?
Yeah, but I mean,
no one ever dies.
I was about to say with Shuri going on, like she could have just been like, cousin, no, and then just brought him back for some reason.
Yeah, and there's also like a giant element that I assume we're going to see, which is the ancestral plane.
Yes.
So I don't know when we visit what that's going to be. Yeah. But I will say, like, I'm about to talk about something really brand new that's in this, but going back to, I think, Chadwick Boseman, I kind of don't want them to do too much with that. Does that make sense? Like, it would feel really exploitative.
Oh,
wouldn't it? Like be like a big. And there's
a
version. If you watch, I don't think you've seen this movie, but there's the new Ghostbusters Afterlife movie that came out this last year. That I think is an
You told me
example
about it.
of it being too heavy-handed. I mean, I won't go into too many specifics, but watch that movie and then you might feel a little icky, you know?
But also this is a different director.
I know.
This is a completely different studio. Like, that was probably not the most tasteful thing, but I don't think that Kevin or Marvel or Disney
would go too far.
Or even Ryan would let that happen.
Yeah. And of course, we'll see. Like, you know, these are issues we may not even have. But
right.
It'll be, that line that they tread will be interesting.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a brand new character. I can't believe we haven't talked about her yet because she's in the trailer and she's in the Lexus ads for this movie. And that's Dominic Thorne, who's playing Riri Williams, or Ironheart. Now, she has a show that's already been announced, but she is the spiritual successor to Tony Stark and Iron Man. She's really smart in the comic book. She basically has an Iron Man suit.
Yes.
Which is huge, but it seems like this is her introduction to the MCU. It's kind of, I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's kind of crazy that like the last couple superhero movies we've seen have been sequels, but also include giant introductions of new.
Yep.
I mean, we got America Chavez and Doctor Strange.
Not even the movies, though. Even the shows. Like, that's where...
Absolutely.
That's, yeah. So,
it's a big part. Echo. You know, there's all kinds of things, and I get it.
Okay, look at Loki. Hello?
There's a lot of like world building that needs to happen in the MCU. So they have to introduce like dozens of characters, and they don't have time. But I'm interested to see how she does in this. What do you think about Ironheart in the Black Panther movie?
Well, I mean, this is to be expected, right? Like, Phase 4 is like
giant.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
This Phase 5. This is the last thing in Phase 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Phase 4 is gonna be done.
This is it.
And then
this is the end.
So it wouldn't it make sense to introduce
the next phase?
Yeah, because you have to. I mean, looking forward, there is so much planned for Marvel, and I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg because of how giant this company can be. And it's not like superhero movies are going to be doing bad in the box office anytime soon. And I think adding more and more characters is just going to continue to make this audience more generational. And it just makes sense. It's gonna be like a sprinkle of the old stuff with like a huge drop of the new stuff.
I mean, everything has seemed to be leading towards that next gen that you're talking about, Young Avengers style. And you know, you got Shuri and you've got Riri Williams in this, so that just kind of in America, and the other
and the
stuff.
twins from WandaVision. That's why I'm saying, like, not even we got Kang going too.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's all kinds of shit happening right now.
Well, this movie comes out again later this week. It seems like some of the reactions are already out, and a lot of people enjoy it. The scope is really big. This is a really long movie. It's like it's 161 minutes. That's
wow,
long. That is like 2.5 hours, longer than that. That's kind of wild. So I think it's going to be giant. It's going to be epic. It's going to look really cool. But yeah, we're really excited to watch this movie. Sophia, are you excited? Any final thoughts on Black Panther: Wakanda Forever before you watch it?
I'm just super excited. Please don't text me anything because like I said, we're not going to watch it together, and I already know that you're going to be like, "Oh my god, it's amazing! I wish you were here." And I'm going to be like, "Oh my god, shut up."
Okay, fair.
But if I wasn't in school, then I would for sure 100% like be here wanting to watch it with you because why wouldn't I be excited? Yeah, period. That's all I want to say because it's going to bother me that I can't say more.
And if you want to get hype, Disney Plus I think has those I think they're called legends or something where they kind of describe the story of these characters. They've got one on T'Challa, Shuri, and the Dora Milaje. Nice. So those three things, super important for this movie. But we will definitely be back on Friday with a spoiler-free talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
I'll probably listen to that before I watch the movie myself.
Nice. And then on Monday, we'll have a full spoiler-full episode of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever for everyone. And then after that, there's nothing. No, there's a lot of Marvel stuff, but we don't want to get too far ahead. Let's enjoy this. It's going to be a really big movie, one of the first blockbusters of the fall season. But yeah, we've come to the end of this pod. Sophia, what do you have to plug?
Just the same old stuff. Thank you so much for listening to our voices in your ear holes. Thank you for supporting us through and through all of these shows, all of these movies. It really does go a really long way. And if you want to support us even further than that, you sure can check us out on Patreon. It's going to be patreon.com/delphinpod, DELFINPOD. And that not only helps our channel, but it helps so many other channels that are also on the Delphin Pod network. So we'd really appreciate that too. And if you want to follow me on any socials, you sure can. Everything's going to be @_Simply Sophie, SOFIEE.
Let us know what you thought about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. If you have questions, follow us at Delphin Pod, message us there, and we will you'll be hearing from us a couple more times.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.